It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
I want to welcome to the program for the first time. We have the Faulkner County Circuit Clerk on the line. Crystal Taylor is with us. Crystal, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Paul. How are you this morning?
Doing fantastic. I'm glad you could spend some time with us. So tell us, I wanted to talk just a little bit about, I'm really fascinated with local government, especially people who, go into local government and, make conservative changes. And so, Crystal, you've actually already done your first term, right? And you're starting on your second term. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments of your first term when you got into that office. Were there things that you kind of had to take charge of and do things differently?
Yes, definitely. In going in, of course, I didn't know all of what to expect. But as with, any other business, I've owned and managed my own businesses before. So you just kind of have to get in there and see how things are functioning. And sometimes it takes a little while to just analyze the processes and how things are being done to see what you can do to make it better. So I went into the office and kept all of the existing staff in going in. And I did have one resign right before I took office and decided not to refill that position just to see kind of where we were at and see if I really even needed to refill that position. So kind of went in with that thought in mind. I knew as a business owner, I wanted to be able to see the expenses and the revenues coming in and going out. So I did a few changes in the office as far as taking over those responsibilities and duties for myself and kind of doing a little restructuring. So started there and started learning, what expenses were already kind of set up and existing in the office, and just started making changes here and there. All of my positions, I actually let go of about, I want to say close to 5 full-time positions in the first year and a half, and that was mainly all due through attrition, people retiring and different things like that. And we just kind of reevaluated those positions as that happened and said, hey, what were the duties that were being performed in this position, and is that something that we can take on with our existing staff as opposed to adding a new position? So with all that being done and through some different efficiency projects that we implemented in 2017 and 2018, we were able to cut the budget by over $200,000, and I think that was an actual decrease of pretty close to 20% of the total budget.
Wow. And is a lot of that savings from the attrition, from saying, hey, listen, we don't need to rehire these positions, we can do the work ourselves?
That was probably the biggest majority of it, but we did do a lot of projects in 2017 and 2018, just trying to get rid of some paper processes. And paper is kind of something that you think of as being probably small if you look, at the price of a page of paper. But when you have a lot of volume, that can add up to quite a bit of savings. So we were evaluating processes, and I even had my staff actually helping me to review processes. And I told them, I said, let's just think about this, and let's say, do I really have to print this out? Or is this something that I'm just printing, keeping for a little while, and then turning around and shredding it? Because some of that is, and we actually won 4 government efficiency awards in 2017 for a copy accounting system that we developed on an existing copier. So there was no cost involved in implementing it, just an idea and a vision. And then we also bought a $200 Adobe program, which has no future fees. That saved us, I think it saved us somewhere over $2,000 in paper processes, and we were able to implement some other processes and save even more. So, just evaluating paper processes and the way we were doing things, we were able to cut a whole lot more as well.
That's fantastic. And see, this is why I wanted to have Crystal on. Folks, we're talking with Crystal Taylor. She's the Faulkner County Circuit Clerk, and she saved a ton of money in that department. And one of the reasons she did it, I think so, this is speculative, but I'm going to ask you, Crystal, is it because you said you're a business owner? Tell us what your business is, and tell us how that affects you as a government worker in terms of, how you looked at the way government should run as opposed to the way it typically does,
Yeah, so I'd always worked in the private industry, and we owned and managed several businesses. But just going way back, to give you a little background on myself, I obtained a bachelor's degree in operations management through John Brown University, and then went on to University of Fayetteville and received a master's degree in operations management. So I've got a lot of educational background in efficiency and processes. But then also I had a financial background. I worked for a bank for 7.5 years, and you learn a lot about saving money and being good with your credit and things of that nature during that time. And then later I went on to become an oil and gas landman, where I actually went to all the circuit clerk's offices across the state, researching title from surface all the way back to patent, doing mineral searches and all of that. So that's kind of where my background was coming in. Now, businesses we've owned, we actually own and manage rental properties. We have that company. And then our oil and gas experience, we actually managed all the Fayetteville Shell here in Central Arkansas for Southwestern Energy. We bought all the right-of-way for that entire project and worked for them for over 12 years. Later, after that kind of went down, we owned a restaurant for a couple of years, which it was kind of short-lived, but we learned a lot about cost savings and things like that. If you ever own a restaurant, you will find out ways of becoming very efficient. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the efficiency that the taxpayers certainly want. Excuse me, you don't have to name any names, but you're setting the bar kind of high for other departments, I'm sure, in Faulkner County. You get any pushback or dirty looks?
I don't think so. I've never tried to point fingers or, to do.
Yes.
And to do the very best job that I can do. So I'm hoping that, I haven't stepped on any toes or anything like that. And I don't believe I have. If anything, what I would rather see happen is for people to kind of open their eyes to what running an efficient government office could be. And hopefully people will want to start evaluating their process of the way they've always done things and become more efficient and, kind of follow in those footsteps would be great. I mean, I hope to create a team atmosphere rather than, hey, I'm doing this and you're doing that. I've never been one to do that at all. I hope to create a positive environment that other people would want to follow.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely. We're talking again with Crystal Taylor, Faulkner County Circuit Clerk. She's made some big savings, $200,000 in budget savings. Crystal, you got any plans to find even more efficiencies now that you're in your second term?
Definitely. I was just talking to my staff as we were heading into the second term, and I told them, I said, hey, we won 4 government efficiency awards in 2017. This year we won the grand prize. In 2018, it was the Business Service Award for our electronic land record system that we brought to Faulkner County, because we're online, what they call e-recording. So we're paperless now. And we're paperless with our court filings, and we're paperless with our land filings. So basically, we're completely electronic, which we're backing up that data not only here but in another state. So we've got all these backup plans, and we've got a new veterans program, which I'd love for people to go check out at www.faulknercounty.org. Basically, local businesses can go on there and they can put their logo and information and offer any type of discount for a veteran, and they can get free advertisement on our website there. There's no fee to the businesses. It's our way of supporting local businesses, and also supporting our veterans. Veterans can come in with a DD-214. We file that for free for them, so it's made available for their family in the future if they need it. And also we create them a photo ID that they can take to local businesses and get discounts. So, but we are definitely focused. I told them, I said, after the first 2 years, it was just kind of a whirlwind with everything we accomplished. We've got a lot to do now because we kind of set the bar high in that first term. So we're already looking at efficiency projects and making plans and trying to, shrink the paper down and become even more electronic and move forward with efficiencies. One thing we're looking at this year, as we're coming into the new year, is actually equipment. A lot of equipment, and there's probably going to be a lot of lease companies out there that, probably don't like me saying this, but when you lease equipment, as I see over time, over a 5-year period, you can pay 5, even 10 times, a lot more for a piece of equipment than if you just owned it yourself. And there's companies out there that have excellent programs where I could probably pay for a piece of equipment in a year what I would pay for a lease, and get a lifetime service agreement on it just by ordering my supplies through them. So that's one of the things we're looking at this year, and I think that's going to give us a substantial savings over the next 5 years as well.
Crystal Taylor with the Faulkner County Circuit Clerks, or you are the Faulkner County Circuit Clerk, rather. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing this positive story about what conservatives can do in government, manage things better and find these savings. I know that's exactly what the people sent you there for, and so I wanted to highlight that story. And it's a pleasure to meet you and have you on the program, and I'd love to do it again sometime.
Sounds great. I'd love to. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Thanks for inviting me to your show. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.